Jack Reacher first look at Rosamund Pike as Helen Rodin photo. Paramount Pictures has unveiled a new photo from Jack Reacher, director Christopher McQuarrie's adaptation of the Lee Child novel One Shot. Tom Cruise stars as the title character, a former military police officer who begins investigating a grisly series of murders. This photo gives us our first look at Rosamund Pike's Helen Rodin, a young defense attorney who aids Jack in his quest for the truth behind these killings. Rosamund Pike, a master of blending strength, vulnerability, and intelligence, takes on the role of Helen Rodin in Jack Reacher, the 2012 film adaptation of Lee Child's bestseller One Shot. When casting Pike as Rodin was first announced, there was palpable excitement, and for good reason. Known for her fierce portrayals of complex characters, Pike had already wowed audiences in films like Gone Girl and Pride and Prejudice. But bringing Helen Rodin to life was no easy task. Standing opposite a character as formidable as Jack Reacher, played by Tom Cruise, meant Helen would need to be both tough and clever, traits Pike excels at bringing to the screen. Rosamund Pike's first look as Helen Rodin introduced audiences to a character who defies the traditional damsel in distress archetype. The film's first promotional image of her was a stark reminder that Helen Rodin, like Jack Reacher, was not to be underestimated. With her sharp gaze, sleek wardrobe, and a posture that signals authority, Pike's portrayal of Rodin exudes a quiet confidence, a necessary trait when facing the gritty world of Reacher. Helen Rodin, the unlikely heroine Helen Rodin, isn't just any character in Jack Reacher. She plays the role of a defense attorney, representing an accused sniper who allegedly murdered 5 people in broad daylight. What makes her character so intriguing is the moral complexity she brings to the table. As the daughter of a district attorney who is hell-bent on convicting the accused, Helen is torn between familial loyalty and professional ethics. From the outset, she knows the odds are stacked against her, but she remains determined to defend her client, even in the face of mounting pressure. Pike's interpretation of Rodin adds layers of humanity to this struggle. The first look photo hints at a woman who carries the weight of responsibility on her shoulders, yet refuses to crumble under it. Dressed in a professional outfit that reflects her status as a lawyer, but without the cold detachment often associated with the profession, Pike's Helen Rodin comes across as warm, smart, and relatable. Her hair is neatly styled, but not overly glamorous, adding to the sense that this is a woman who has had to fight her way into male-dominated spaces. The slight frown on her face suggests a mind deep in thought, possibly wrestling with her conscience or assessing the seemingly impossible task in front of her. Helen is intelligent, savvy, and morally upright, a combination that sets her apart in the murky world of Jack Reacher. And it's this sense of righteousness that makes her a natural foil to Reacher, who operates on his own moral code, one that often skews into the gray. Reacher doesn't trust easily, and neither does Helen, but their mutual respect forms the backbone of the film. Pike's take on Helen Rodin, layered and subtle as one of Hollywood's most versatile actresses, Rosamund Pike has made a career out of portraying characters that are as multifaceted as they are intense. Her role as Helen Rodin is no different. While the photo may seem like a simple image of Pike in character, it offers subtle clues about the performance to come. One of the most striking elements of this first look photo is the way Pike carries herself. Her posture is upright and determined, but there's an underlying tension in her stance. It suggests that Helen Rodin is not someone to back down from a challenge, but she's also not immune to the pressure of her situation. Pike has always been skilled at communicating emotion through body language, and here she conveys the vulnerability and strength that defines her character. This tension plays out throughout the movie as Helen and Reacher navigate the complex dynamics of their relationship. Both are on the same side, yet their approaches to justice are vastly different. In interviews, Pike has mentioned how much she enjoyed playing a character who isn't just a love interest or a sidekick. Helen Rodin is integral to the story, driving much of the plot and forcing Reacher to confront aspects of his worldview. She's not afraid to stand up to him, and their verbal sparring is as much a part of the film's appeal as the action sequences. While Reacher may be used to people following his lead, Helen refuses to be intimidated by him, which creates an engaging dynamic between the two. Pike's ability to project strength without losing sight of her character's emotional core is a hallmark of her acting style, and it shines through in her portrayal of Helen Rodin. In the film, Helen faces intense personal and professional pressure, but she never loses sight of what's important: justice. Whether she's in the courtroom or standing face-to-face with Reacher, Helen Rodin is always in control, even if the stakes are high. A power dynamic that shapes the narrative. One of the most intriguing aspects of Pike's role as Helen Rodin is how her character shifts the power dynamic in Jack Reacher. Reacher may be a force of nature, but Helen isn't swept away by him. She challenges him intellectually and morally, something few characters in the franchise have done so effectively. The first-look image of Pike as Helen Rodin subtly hints at this dynamic. Her composed expression suggests a woman who knows her own mind, who won't easily be persuaded or swayed. This is a character who believes in the power of the law, even when the odds seem insurmountable. Helen is not just there to support Reacher's quest for justice, she has her own mission. Pike's embodiment of Helen adds a layer of complexity to the film, reminding audiences that justice isn't always black and white. The relationship between Helen and Reacher is one of mutual respect, and this is apparent from their first interaction. Helen understands that Reacher operates outside the law, but she also knows that she needs him to uncover the truth. Their partnership is built on a foundation of trust and understanding, but it's clear that Helen won't hesitate to call Reacher out when necessary. In this sense, Helen is the moral center of the film, and Pike's performance grounds the story in a way that makes the stakes feel real. The importance of Helen Rodin in the Reacher universe. While Jack Reacher is very much a vehicle for Tom Cruise's action prowess, Helen Rodin's role cannot be understated. Her character is a departure from the usual women we see in action thrillers. She's not merely a plot device or romantic interest. Helen is integral to the narrative, providing both a moral compass and a voice of reason in a story filled with violence and revenge. Pike's casting as Helen was a deliberate choice that emphasized these qualities. In bringing Rodin to life, Pike gave the film a layer of emotional depth that it may have otherwise lacked. Her presence on screen humanizes Reacher's world, reminding audiences that behind every case there are real lives at stake. Helen's determination to seek justice for her client, despite overwhelming evidence, forces the audience to question the nature of guilt, innocence, and moral responsibility. In a genre where women are often relegated to supporting roles, Helen Rodin stands out as a fully realized character. Pike's portrayal is a testament to her skill as an actress, and it's easy to see why she was chosen for the role. The first-look image captures this perfectly. Helen Rodin is a woman on a mission, and she won't be stopped. Conclusion: Rosamund Pike's portrayal of Helen Rodin in Jack Reacher is a masterclass in subtle, powerful acting. The first-look photo offers a glimpse into a character who is both strong and vulnerable, a woman who stands her ground in a world dominated by men like Reacher. Pike brings depth, intelligence, and nuance to the role, elevating the film beyond a typical action thriller. Helen Rodin is a character who believes in the power of justice, and Pike's performance ensures that her presence is felt throughout the film. In a movie filled with high-stakes action and moral dilemmas, Helen Rodin serves as a reminder that sometimes the strongest weapon is conviction. Helen Rodin is a character who believes in the power of justice, and Pike's performance ensures that her presence is felt throughout the film. In a movie filled with high-stakes action and moral dilemmas,